Richard Hatch was not happy. The actor had poured so much of his personal time and energy into his portrayal of Captain Apollo, only to see his character gradually be reduced to guest starring status. Something needed to be done, and the actor took matters into his own hands. Hi everyone, welcome to Battlestar Galactica. If you enjoy the interesting stories that surround the Galactica universe, as well as the memorabilia, then please consider subscribing to my channel. Richard Hatch was a true professional, and anyone who ever had any dealings with the actor will tell you that he put his full time and effort into any project that he was involved with. Captain Apollo was no exception. When he agreed to take on the role, Richard Hatch literally became Captain Apollo. Now, show creator Glenn Larson often said at conventions that Battlestar Galactica was built around the character of Captain Apollo, but this gradually started to change once something unexpected occurred, and that is the popularity of Lieutenant Starbuck. You could really see screen time slowly changing if you watch this series from beginning to end. The first half of Battlestar Galactica pretty much involves Captain Apollo in every episode, and then it gradually shifts to that of Lieutenant Starbuck. Now, in many TV series, this occurs more often than not, where a co-star actually becomes more popular than the main star of the show. One only has to look at Lost in Space as well as Star Trek, where Dr. Smith and Mr. Spock began to overshadow the stars of the series, Professor John Robinson and Captain Kirk, much to the annoyance of the actors involved. Now, you can't blame the producers of Battlestar Galactica from shifting the stories away from Captain Apollo to that of Lieutenant Starbuck. Fan mail, audience surveys, as well as ratings proved to Universal Studios that Lieutenant Starbuck, as portrayed by actor Dirk Benedict, was the breakout star for the TV show, and they put pressure on Glenn Larson to include more of the character. And that's exactly what the producer did. Now, Glenn Larson was well aware that Richard Hatch was not happy, but he was not prepared for what happened next. It has become an infamous story surrounding the production of Battlestar Galactica. In an unexpected meeting between the actor and producer, Richard Hatch grew very angry and frustrated with the direction of the TV series and threatened to quit Battlestar Galactica if changes were not made. Remember, at this point, Battlestar Galactica was expected to be renewed for a second season. Not wanting any future problems with this series star and empathizing with the actor, Glenn Larson promised that he was working on an episode that would star Captain Apollo, and that episode became Experiment in Terra. Now, Richard Hatch left that impromptu meeting very happy, but once the episode aired, fans began to notice something very strange about it. Captain Apollo was not his usual self in this episode. He was kind of goofy, and fans picked up on the vibe right away. It was only discovered later, much to the embarrassment of actor Richard Hatch, that Glenn Larson simply swapped out the name Starbuck for that of Apollo in the script. This episode was supposed to star Lieutenant Starbuck. Upon learning this, Richard Hatch immediately apologized to actor Dirk Benedict, who accepted it graciously. Watching this episode today, it's basically Richard Hatch playing Starbuck, and it just doesn't work. There's only one Lieutenant Starbuck, that portrayed by actor Dirk Benedict. And the rest is history. I hope you enjoyed this story, everyone. I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great Galactica day.